let's get into the news. So, in other bizarre and strange news, Stormy Daniels has now been arrested, and it's hilarious. Okay, so Stormy Daniels was arrested last night. Why? Well, it's sad when, the new Democratic leader is arrested. Everybody during the rallies in 2016 was shouting, lock her up about Hillary Clinton. And then Hillary Clinton became irrelevant. And now it turns out we're going to lock up the new Democratic leader, their leading 2020 candidate, Stormy Daniels. So here is the actual statement of fact in support of probable cause for the arrest of Stormy Daniels. At approximately 11:30 p.m., a dancer using the stage name Stormy Daniels, later identified as Stephanie Clifford, made her way to the main stage and began performing. The majority of the patrons got up from their tables and stood immediately adjacent to the stage, throwing dollar bills at Miss Clifford, which is a good metaphor for her entire career, as well as an actual non-metaphor for her entire career. During her performance, after removing her top, exposing her breasts, she began forcing the faces of the patrons into her chest and using her bare breasts to smack the patrons, which is a thing to do, I guess. The officers also observed Miss Clifford fondling the breasts of female patrons. As soon as the officers observed the aforementioned criminal activity, Detectives Lancaster, Keckley, and Prather approached the stage. Miss Clifford made her way over to Detective Keckley and began performing in front of her. Miss Clifford leaned over, grabbed Detective Keckley's head, and began smacking her face with her bare breasts and holding her face between her breasts against her chest. America is already great. Miss Clifford then began making her way over to Detective Lancaster and performed the same acts on him, forcing his face into her chest between her breasts and began smacking his face with her bare breasts. Miss Clifford then moved down onto the stage where Officer Prather was standing and began fondling Officer Prather's buttocks and breasts. She then forced Officer Prather's head into her chest between her breasts and began smacking Officer Prather's fist with her bare breasts, as she had done with all the other patrons and aforementioned officers. Well, it's a Mason chain or something. During this time, Detective Rosser was standing back near the bar area witnessing the criminal activity. So Detective Rosser was the least lucky officer assigned that evening. As soon as Miss Clifford moved on from Officer Prather, Detective Rosser made his way through the crowd to advise the other officers he was exiting the club to request the assistance of patrol to arrest the aforementioned 3 suspects. All 3 suspects were arrested without incident. I'm not sure who the 3 suspects are. Is that Clifford and her breasts? I'm confused. This is the aforementioned 3 suspects. This is poorly written. I'm not sure who the other people who are arrested are. All I can say here is that clearly the Democrats have chosen wisely in their decision to make Stephanie Clifford the leading edge of their attack on President Trump. She is nothing but class. Why would we ever suspect that she might, do things for money when she spent her entire career doing things for money? Why might we ever suspect that maybe this whole I'm a victim of the president and I will stop the president, I'm on Saturday Night Live to stop the president, then maybe that's all just a way to raise her profile because she's pretty much willing to smack people in the face with her boobs for cash. And that is not an exaggeration. That is literally her arrest record now, is that she smacked people in the face with her boobs for cash. And we are supposed to believe that she and her lawyer, Michael Avenatti, are going to save America. Well, I know that there are a lot of people on the right who believe that Trump is King David, so I guess that this would make her like female King David, according to the left, that like God anointed her breasts so that she can save the country from President Trump. Yes, everything is deeply stupid. Indeed, all of the things are stupid. And they're not just stupid with regard to Stormy Daniels' latest arrest for apparently bringing people face to face with the crevasse. Apparently also, Peter Strzok was interviewed by the House Judiciary and Oversight Committee today. And he has now returned to a congressional hearing room just down the hall. And he says that he was not biased against President Trump in any way. He did not bias his case against President Trump in any way, which is only belied by every fact we know about Peter Strzok at this time. He was the FBI agent, of course. He suggested that he was going to stop Trump from becoming president. He was texting with his lover, Lisa Page. She's a delight. So is Lisa Page. Both of them married, having an affair with each other, and texting about how Trump was the worst thing in the world. Clearly, President Trump didn't have the moral standards of Peter Strzok and Lisa Page while they were cheating on their spouses with one another and then using their professional positions in order to accelerate an investigation into a political enemy. Clearly, Trump is the major problem here.